Okay, I just wanted to make a quick video on how to um, use the repair estimator, okay, for a home. Now this repair estimator right here is used primarily for just like basics, like the main things that need to be done to a house. This is not the fully detailed one, which is over here in repairs. This one is probably 20 times more detailed as far as the things need to be done. But this one here is primarily used for on the phone or to quickly estimate like what the major repairs needed to be done to a house are. Now the way it works is if anything is in a light pink color, you actually click on it once and it gives you a drop down window here, and then you get to choose. So here it's asking number of stories on the house. You click it, you choose one, 1.5, or 2. I haven't set it up for a 3-story house yet. um, Now anything that's light blue is ones that you fill out. You actually will fill this out, so you can change it. You double click it and put, if the house is 1026 square feet, then you put 1026 square feet. um, Also, the base square footage, this means if a house is 5 stories tall, but we just really are looking for what's the first floor square footage, because that is essentially going to determine how many square feet is in the roof or in the vinyl siding, essentially for it's basically the foundation of figuring out what the vinyl siding cost is and what the roof replacement cost is knowing what the square footage of the first floor of a home is. So if this is a 1-story home, then of course this is going to be the same square footage as the total square footage. Now if this was a 2-story house, most likely it's going to at least be close that the total square footage will be double than what the base square footage is. So if it's a square or rectangular home, let's say, and it's 2,000 square feet total, then most likely the first floor will be 1,000 square foot. Now again, that's for a 2-story home. Okay, so if it's 2-story, the total square footage is about probably double what the base or the first floor square footage is. Okay, now um, let's go back 1-story. Let's just do 1050 square feet. 1050 square feet here. The number of rooms, heated number rooms, the only reason why we need to know that is to calculate if you're doing baseboard heat and window unit AC. Otherwise, it's really not important. So it's not 100% like you have to know that, because most of the time we're going to put in central heating and air anyway, so the number of rooms isn't really relevant. It's more based upon the total square footage of the house. And the number of windows, it's always better to actually ask the people if they know. If they don't, this is just an estimation of the number of windows, which is 1 window per 100 square feet. Now, the way it works, like I said before, is anything that's pink you can choose. And the way this calculator works is, here is the cost base for repairs, is in this row here, based upon the square footage of the house and the number of stories. Now if you want to add this, so like if it needs to be replaced, is it needed? It's yes. If it's not needed, it's going to go to no, and this amount is added to the calculator as 0. If I turn it back to yes, then it adds the full amount of estimation for replacement cost. And what happens is anything that ends up being a yes over here gets added to the total here. So let's show you. So right now it's 11,978. If I do it to no, then it changes that, it subtracts away that 3,360. Okay, so that's essentially how this section works. Go through, and anything that's needed you do yes, anything that's not needed you do no. Now the way it works for kitchen and bathrooms is a little bit different. Essentially, if you know for certain, let's start right here. If you know for certain that the whole kitchen needs to be updated, then just go ahead and leave it on yes. Now yes, this yellow part here is also a click down, okay, where you get to choose yes or no. If the whole kitchen needs updated, you just leave it on yes, which would be an estimated $5,080 to completely redo the kitchen. Now if and that includes appliances, that's lower end appliances, not stainless steel. Now if and it adds the total here. Now if it doesn't need the entire kitchen updated, it just needs a few of the things, then you go to no, and what happens then is you choose the things to be added. But if you accidentally leave it on yes, it's going to add this amount to the total here, which gets added at the very end of the calculator. So if it doesn't need an entire kitchen update, just partial, go to no, and it won't add this to the bottom. It'll just only add the things that you choose that it needs. So this one, it needs just it doesn't need new cabinets, it just needs the cabinets painted. It just needs a refrigerator and a stove and countertop. So it's roughly about $25.50. Okay. Same with bathrooms. First of all, you choose how many bathrooms is there. Full baths. This is full baths. Let's say it only has it has 2 full baths. Okay. Does it need a total update on both? If it does, yes, then it's going to add this times 2 to the total here. Okay. If it doesn't need that, if it doesn't, and it only needs certain things, then you just add the certain things that it needs. Okay. And if you go back to 1, it adds half. Okay. Now this is rough estimations. Okay. And same with half bath. Number of half baths. If there's not any half baths, there's 0 half baths, then it's going to add 0 to the bottom. And the way it works here, estimating repair cost. This is the estimation of repair cost based upon these numbers, the total for this amount, the total for the kitchen, and the total for the baths. Gives you this number here. Now, just for good practice sake, really, it's good to realize that realistically you'll probably be about 20% higher for doing a rehab. So this is the estimation of repairs, somewhere between $15,598 and $18,717. And other things to keep in mind that isn't on this list that are major issues is if there's any foundation, mold, water issues, or termites. Yeah, so that's essentially how this works. And then I would say, just for future reference, if you're adding this to your cost to sell calculator and you're doing it manually instead of having it automatically fill in, if I would just go ahead and add this lower number to the calculator. In certain circumstances, depending on the seller you're dealing with, if the seller is very, very on board and they kind of like don't care and they seem like they're going to kind of say yes to whatever we have to say, you can maybe use this higher number and just say, look, most of the time we come in higher, so we're going to use our higher number here. But whatever you feel like, if there's someone that are difficult to deal with and they're kind of hard to convince, then I would use the lower number. Just say, look, we know we're probably going to be higher, but for this situation we're going to go with the lower number. So then what you're going to do is just go there, and you would end up going over to your cost to sell calculator and adding it right here. Just add that 15,598. You just add to your cost to sell calculator here. That would then basically tell you what you need to offer on the house. So that's how it works. Thanks.